Hi everybody, this is Mark Hutten, and in this week's video we're going to look at the difference between meltdowns and tantrums. I got a email from a parent the other day, Julie, and she's wanted to know if there is a difference between an Asperger's meltdown and a temper tantrum, and the short answer to that is yes, there is. We'll look at the temper tantrums first, and we'll compare the two. A tantrum is very straightforward. A child doesn't get his way, and as Grandma would say, he pitches a fit. Now, this isn't to discount the tantrum. They're not fun for anyone, but tantrums do have several qualities that distinguish them from meltdowns. A child who's having a tantrum will, for example, occasionally look around to see if his behavior is getting a reaction. He'll take precautions to be sure that he doesn't get hurt. He will attempt to use the social situation to his benefit, and a temper tantrum is thrown to achieve a specific goal. And once that goal is met, things return to normal. Now, when you're experiencing a tantrum from your child, you may often get the feeling that he is the one that's in control, although he would like for you to think that he's not in control. And again, when the situation is resolved, the temper tantrum will end as suddenly as it begins. So if you feel like you're being manipulated by a tantrum, you're right, you are. A tantrum is nothing more than a power play by a child who's not mature enough to play the subtle game of internal politics. So hold your ground and remember who's in charge. A tantrum in a child who does not have Asperger's is very simple to handle. Parents should simply ignore the behavior and refuse to give the child what he's demanding. Tantrums usually result when a child makes a request or a demand, the parent says no, and then the child has a temper tantrum as a last-ditch effort. Now, let's look at meltdowns. The problem with meltdowns is that there is a total loss of control. Something overtakes the child, and he needs for you to recognize this behavior and rein him back in because he's not able to gain control of himself. A child having a tantrum, he can gain control of himself if he wants to. An Asperger's child having a meltdown cannot regain control. So when he's in the middle of a meltdown, he desperately needs help gaining control. A child who is having a meltdown, he has no interest or involvement in the social situation. He is not. He doesn't care about his safety or the safety of others. He does not look around or care if those around him are reacting to his behavior, and the meltdown will usually continue as if it were moving under its own power, and it will wind down very slowly. So meltdowns can leave even very experienced parents at their wits' end, unsure of what to do. So when you think of a tantrum, the classic image is of a child lying on the floor, kicking his feet, swinging his arms, doing a lot of screaming. This is not even close to a meltdown. A meltdown is best defined as a total loss of behavior control. It is loud, risky at times, frustrating, and can be very exhausting. Meltdowns are also preceded by what I refer to as silent seizures. So ask yourself, does the meltdown have a brief period before onset where your child spaces out? And does it seem like he has a few minutes of time when he's totally uninvolved with his environment? So if you're noticing these silent seizures, that's the time to get into prevention mode, because meltdowns are very difficult to control once they're underway. So when you're dealing with meltdowns, it's best to think in terms of prevention. When your child launches into a meltdown, you also want to remove him from the environment because it can be very dangerous. Glass shelving, windows, doors, they may become the target of an angry foot. So avoiding injury is the top priority with a meltdown. Another cause of meltdowns can be health issues. For example, if your child suffers from migraines, a migraine may hit your child very suddenly, and the pain is so totally debilitating that his behavior may spiral downward quickly, resulting in a meltdown. So again, thinking in terms of prevention, watch for telltale signs such as sensitivity to light, sensitivity to sound, if your child is holding his head, and so forth. So, Julie, thank you for your question, and I hope that answers your question regarding is there a difference between Asperger's meltdowns and tantrums. Thank you.